Welcome back, guys. Time for the next video. I think this is part 8. These videos are accelerating because I'm getting a bit excited because we're almost done. Well, no. But we are, getting to the good parts. In this video, we'll be installing interior lighting and weighing down the keel. So, first things first, the keel. I've left a ton of room here for this exact thing. Notice I'm trying not to use the fuel tanks. The fuel tanks are here as a buffer between the air tanks and the floor. People hit the floor a ton in submarines. They underestimate how far they've got to go down, and then they slam the base of it in. So that's why the fuel tanks are here, and we're gonna probably extend them up here in the nose a little, because you notice how the air tanks are pushed back. They don't go all the way. That's to protect them, because this is the hot spots for damage. Batteries are even spread out because we don't want to die on the first hit. And every system has to function just correct for the whole thing to work. And if it doesn't, then you're screwed. So they've all got to be very protected. Some are more important than others, but overall, I try to keep things near the rear. The most important stuff near the rear and through the middle, where you're less likely to collide. You see. So anyway, weighing down the keel, we'll lay it in here in the air tank region, because we know this is storing air. We should probably be taking some more readings, but we'll get to that later, because it could even take a little bit of tuning to get them all right. We might add all of our air. I think we will. Probably add all the air together. We'll weigh down the keel first, because that's a logic. It's a logistics thing. Okay, so that's weights there. And then we're going to put weights up here. We want to try to use this space up here for weighting more than we use the space over there by the tanks, because we might use that again sometime to go back in and make this more efficient. You could even try to run more lines through. But the idea with this system is we wouldn't have to do that because of how efficient we've already got it running. But hopefully that won't be a problem. Alright, so we put some weight. Oh, I need the symmetry. I need me some symmetry. Okay, so we're symmetrical now. We've got this. The front's pretty far down, but the problem we were having is at the rear. So let's get it right here below this engine. Not going all the way there, but like 3 here. Run some along the side of the engine here. The floor. Notice why there was never an idea that, hey, they'll just come and hang out in the engine room. The engine room is everywhere but where you sit, and they're literally walled in. Walls of pipes kind of close in around them. So there's literally no way to get back here. I would preserve this as an engine room if I could. I cannot, though, because in order to consider space, I really built it in around that cabin region. Alright, so this should be a starter. We'll see how far down this brings us. Again, we're not trying to achieve neutral buoyancy, we're just trying to achieve a little bit lower so that we can see how fast it's got, kind of kick it's got in it on the surface. So that can give me a pretty good estimate of how we'll handle later on. The yellow one can handle a top speed of 14 meters per second, and about, we don't actually have a speed meter in here, but I can get a good feel for it. And this is how you know if you screwed something up. Okay, ready? Looks pretty good. Looks like we're giving it some hurt. I can't turn. The engine hasn't died or anything. Our nav systems are going to be a whole 3 videos. Because they're the most important part of a diesel sub. It's the nav systems. You hear it's only touching the water every here and there. When it does, it gets good speed. So it appears the surface mode. Let's try the dive mode. We've built up some air now. Think, we can store 713 units of air. This is what we've got so far, and this is how slowly it'll burn, at least on the surface. So you heard it drop off. That means the flow to the engine is still lesser, now that it actually needs it all. We're getting a good speed, a little bit lesser than that of what we had a minute ago. Let's do our consumption. Consumption's a lot faster, you notice, because we're putting it under a lot more strain. It's really working really hard to push through the water now. Whereas originally, even though it was at 20, it was not pushing at all. That's about seconds. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's not bad. Exhaust is gaining a little fast. Again, we're gonna add everything up and then try to divide it down so we can average all the tanks. Alright, let's take this back to the workbench. Let's get our huge ad hooked up. This is a ad 4. Okay, let's grab these. So, how many tanks do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We've got like 16, I think, air tanks. Let's see. Alright, that's one side. We'll just check something real quick. Okay, just making sure these are all good. It's been a while since I built this thing, so I need to remember if it's working, because I don't want to hook these all up and find out it didn't work. Okay, so then same thing here. The output of this goes to the back input here. Now we hook up the other side. I'm just going to be real careful to check all of our inputs, make sure they're all open before we connect anything, because I don't want to miss one tank and then have a false reading. So all looks good. So now this output is now divided by, so how many was that? It was, let's count these real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. So we'll divide our number by 16. And it should look about the same as the reading we got earlier, but maybe a bit different. That's why we're doing this to begin with. There's probably going to be a difference. Notice how this isn't up there in the chassis, but it's centered around the engine, way back near the rear, and it's up above. There's 2 levels below this. We're not just having this exposed. It's way from the wall. You know, I'm not being careless with this system. It is a necessary system. If you don't know how much air you have, you've got to go back to dock and you got to stay on the surface the whole time. Alright, this isn't our new average air. Let's see what we get. Okay, now we're done. Okay. Alright. Here we go. So we're going now. Looks like it's going at the right rate. Let's see, we go to dive mode. It's a little bit less intense. And you notice how I'm not too concerned with how fast it draws the air right now, because that's what the air consumption lever's for. We have a limited amount of physical exertion we can put on the environment around us. But you see, I can bring this down to half, and the engine sounds and operates the same, but the air consumption is slowed a little. I can bring this down to about 0.3, and now we're still going. By all means. This is our cruising speed, maybe. If you wanted to stay underwater for a long period of time, like you were hiding or something, or trying to see something, it's not like you're limited in your dive time. You're limited in your dive, like, range. The amount of distance you can travel underwater. You can go slower, and it's exactly... You get more time if you go slower. Open this valve, see it goes faster. And then we're out. And now you can hear it stop, engine starter's gonna engage. Wait for it. There it goes. Go to breathe mode. Surface breathe. Alright. Now time for surface breathe test. Waves. It needs to be able to breathe steadily in full waves, without worrying about the intake getting covered. Now these aren't really big because we're too close to shore. That'll help. Surely. We might worry about the wave test later. We need our nav systems before we can do that. Alright, let's just take a look at this. So now, we've got these. Let's do the interior lighting. And then, let me check how long the video's been. Now, it's only 13 minutes. I'm doing pretty good for today. So, yeah. Interior lighting. There's a few options for this. You can go crazy or you can go minimalistic. I think today I'll lean towards the minimalistic side and have it rather dim. Now, when I say that, I don't mean a ton of lights that are just dimmed. That's ridiculous, because it's so laggy. So what I think we'll do like one here, one here, and then one here. Notice I'm using the red lines, the thick red lines, to help me space these. That's about how many lights you need. And you don't really need any more. Up here in the nose, we'll probably have one. We'll figure out the nose when we do. Now we grab our light. We've already got lights in the little cabins. We'll hook those up too. Now you gotta think about how you want your lights to work. Do you want to have like a switch at the back? Do you want to have a switch binded right up to the helm or the seat? Do you want to have... There's a lot of options with this now. Notice I've got an issue here. We'll bring this light back one. This, again, this needs to be very smooth. In and out every time. Even if it's unorthodox, it works really well. Okay, and then we need one up here. So we'll put one here, we'll put one here. Actually, we might only have the one. Might be a bit bright. Okay, so now, for where we're going to control the lights, I think we'll do it for now from the light panel switch here. Number 2 will be interiors. Ooh, actually there's a problem. We'll actually have this turn them off. I want them to be default on. But, actually, can we do a button and have it default on? No, we can't. Okay, so we'll do a flip switch. Flip switch, channel 2. So let's go back there now. Do that. Let's grab a knot and hook it up to the hanging cage. And make sure when you're placing your logic, you don't have symmetry on. So I don't think I did that error. I've done that in the past and then had to go back and delete it and then deleted something important and then freaked out. So, yeah. Put the knot right here. Actually, we're going to color everything differently. Everything has a color. So it's easy to see around. You know what is and isn't what you're looking for. Number 2. So we'll do pink for all of our lights. Ooh! See? I said it and then I did it. Alright. So now this goes up here. 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 And here. And why not? Actually, no, these should be buttons inside the rooms so that you can turn off the light even when the ship is awake. You can be asleep. Power these up. Okay. Let's install our gyro. We're not going to hook it up yet or anything, but we're weighing down the boat. And the gyro usually sits on the belly of these weights. To get a good reading, it needs to be pretty center. And these weights are always level, right here in the center. They're pretty safe, just right there, just so we don't forget it. As you can imagine now, diesel submarines are expensive in career mode and probably not necessary. Okay, so interior lights should be defaulted to on now. Let's see how bright they are. I'll probably end up having to tune them down a little. With the things. At least when I lag that hard, I can jump infinite distance. Notice how I use the door dock here. If you build a boat with a con tower, make sure it's a door dock that you can dock on the other submarines. I didn't do that with the LBNS Explorer, and I regret it heavily, but I can't go back now and change design. Wouldn't look right. So this light didn't come on. These lights did, and I like them. They looked right. They just do. This, though, what's with this? It's not really pissing me off at the moment, but I don't like it. Yep, so this is this. Let's try to turn them off. So that works. Turn them on. Let's go check the con tower lights. See if those are working. Ooh. Trouble license. Oh, no, there we go. Con tower lights, good. And you notice how we can't see, right? But we're going to put a seat here that'll allow you to see out. We'll do that right now. Yes, this was empowered. Need a seat here. Padded ones. You can set them down. Like that. Yeah, actually, I should save this. Let's save real quick. Cause I'd hate to have to undo and like redo some stuff. Yeah, I know about backups. Don't mention that in the comments. I just like to save. So yeah, this is good lighting in here now. We've got a good steady light. I like these futuristic kind of rooms, the way they open. They're very much like capsules. Like, I don't know. I think I'll put a wedge on the bottom of this to make it look so much less like the bed is just sitting there. I'll maybe even raise the bed up a little. I don't know how I really want to do that. Let's test out these seats up here in the con tower. So yeah, now I'm sitting here in the seat. I can see out clearly with ease. Standing, no, but sitting, yes. You can see out nicely. Again, for our first person experience. And we want people sitting down in our crafts anyway. See, that just looks nice. Alright, so I think yeah, we're at 22 minutes. I'm gonna call the video. Thanks for watching. So I think today we did weighing it down and interior lighting and seating of some sort.